We going freestyle.
Go.
Are you going?
I'll go. Okay, yeah. All right, we gonna start like this. Knowledge change, but we're socially the same. Race wars divide us, perpetuating the try us. Fake leaders, they got us. They got us.
When I came to Vancouver, I was like, where's all the Black people? I was like, what's going on? I'm from Toronto. I've been to other cities. You figure like in a hub, there's gonna be some level of community, some place that you can connect, and I just could not find it. That was why AfroVan came to be.
AfroVan Connect is an organization that focuses on empowering people of African descent, youth of African descent.
There's this whole kind of idea around our ancestral connection. What does this mean for our community? What does it mean to build community? These types of conversations.
We wanted to create a space that centered Blackness, that centered our culture, that centered who we were, and realizing that we could create those things together and that we were stronger together than we are apart.
Right, from my head to my hair to my toes.
So thank you guys for coming. In the end of the world, we're coming and we're having a conversation.
Still here.
Still here, you know? It's a beautiful thing. Like you said, rebirth, you know? So today we've gathered here to have a lovely conversation about our current experiences in relation to COVID and what's going on in our lives and what we've experienced. Our community has been probably the most impacted communities in Canada and in North America. I believe in Toronto, 83% of the people that contracted COVID were people of color. How has that been for you?
COVID has really allowed us to just look at the wounds that have been there, but now they're kind of starting to bubble up.
COVID really shone that light on all the dark places that are just truly, truly crumbling and just absolutely will not survive with, you know, climate collapse, mass incarceration, like poverty at such high rates. Like, these are the things that their systems depend upon. And I think part of the reason why they wanted to crush our culture so much was so that we would not bring the alternative systems that we already built.
That been existing.
Yeah. And the truth is that as we rise into who we are, into who we want to support each other to be, we remember those ways, we remember those systems, and that's really what we're building.
Yeah, yes.
Woo! When women were being transported to the Americas as part of the transatlantic slave trade, they would often go naked, you know? They didn't have anything, they didn't have any papers. But they would braid seeds into their hair. Okra, rice, sorghum, calabash, and those seeds survived through generations. Particularly for people of African descent, what I find is that, you know, their first thought when they think about working the land is like, oh, slavery. Or they also think about, you know, contemporary rural communities that are impoverished and they work the land. When you learn about the true history beyond slavery, beyond poverty, there's actually a lot of joy and there's a lot of agency and sovereignty. It's relearning that history, as well as just being with these plants that we have a level of blood memory with. These plants remember us. We are doing our first planting. We set up the irrigation and we have just some lettuces, some collards, and more hardy spring veggies to plant. The name The Legacy Growers Collective refers to the culturally important plants that we grow. Part of the legacy is to grow the seed and to keep the seed and to share the seed.
Music was with me right from the jump. My mother flew up from Jamaica when she was 20. She was pregnant with me. I was born and raised in Brampton, Ontario. My grandfather that I grew up living with, he played guitar and he sang. We had this beautiful stand-up piano in the living room. I take in the good, the bad, everything that I experience, and I use my music to raise awareness and to heal myself and heal and support others.
Sometimes I wish you knew. I am from Uganda. We migrated here in the late 80s. And I was born here and raised in the Vancouver area. I was raised Muslim. We spoke our native tongue in our household. It was interesting being born in Canada, but having very strong African cultural connection. Definitely feel like a hybrid, or had to form some level of connection between two worlds.
My dad grew up in Kingston, in Jamaica. My mom, her family is from Sindh, which is now in Pakistan, but she grew up in India. I was born in Detroit, and I grew up in Chicago. My parents growing up were becoming successful in America as new immigrants. I have this memory of my dad like practicing for a few months to get rid of his Jamaican accent, which I totally understand where that's coming from. But I think growing up, we ended up really being influenced by American culture. I'm really glad to have first generation immigrants parents because they are still so connected to their own culture, childhood, and their memories of the land. That's how I know myself now. But I definitely had to go through that period of getting washed over by the values of the culture around me to return to that core of who I am.
Ay, Naja Kulmamon come. Anybody need fork for picking it up? Yeah.
When I was 30, I went to Uganda. It was very important for me to go to my ancestral land. My family is from northern Uganda.
This was for our passport for coming here. At that time, I had 9 children. I was pregnant with him. Oh, it was not easy.
It's empowering to know who you are, and I just felt like a disconnect because there's so many things about myself that I did not know.
These clothes were made in Uganda, the one they were all wearing.
So it was like a really, really deeply connecting type of experience.
I actually was shocked to see the enlightenment in your eyes.
It was just you, or many shades of yourself, and also people who move like you, people who talk like you.
These are the things that I used to tell them, that here they are actually known as a black kid. The same with me. At my workplace, I'm known as the black woman. You know, that's why when we went to Africa, it was different.
There's 10,000 other black boys.
Yes. So you're known as actually a human being that is here in being in this world.
And I loved how that made me feel. And I was like, why can't I have that over here? That's why within Afroban Connect, we're creating that type of space where I was like, for lack of better words, I'll just say F it. I'm just gonna create a space where I can just express that. Hey! JD!
JD in the building!
I remember when you got that shirt. I was with you. I don't want to put you in the spot because you just came here, but I'm going to put you in the spot because you just came here. So you have a word that or something you can think of that matters to you, or anything you want to share in relation to just the immediacy of your experience?
I think seen, the subject of being seen, whether by people you care about, people you try to please, and where you get that sort of validation.
That's dope.
That's amazing.
I find that in Vancouver, where our community is so isolated, there's like that feeling of being unseen.
Right.
You're just like an exotic thing that's here that I get to view.
And I think that's key in terms of like what community is. When we come together, I do feel like, oh yeah, I'm coming to see like my community, and they see all of me.
Not just seeing like each other, which is super important and valuable, but being able to see yourself and be proud of yourself and stand in who you are. Like, I feel like that's been an important part of the process for me right now.
Yeah, totally.
Continually ask yourself, like, what you need, what the people around you need, so you can create the world or the reality that you want to be part of.
Now, if you're sitting or standing, try and reach your hands out in front of you and touch the ground.
We are out at the UBC farm doing land-based learning for youth of African descent.
Try to listen to the sounds of the birds.
This is our garden too.
Taproot. And what is it tapping for?
Water.
Yes! Should everyone hear that? Yes! These big giant roots are tapping for water. Good. That was very good, Bodhi. Okay, get back to weeding.
For us, what's really important is not only being that representation, in my case, being like flamboyantly extra queer and being like very vocal, right? And showing that that is like an okay identity to occupy and also one that you can find success in.
One of the greatest things that taking the youth out on the land offers is a sense of belonging. Growing up in such a city environment, the ways of engaging with the world are so filtered through capitalism. This is a space where you are sheltered from those pressures. That is one of the most valuable things that I want to give youth that I didn't get to have. So I want to show you how to properly put in seeds so that you have the best chance of your seeds surviving when you start your own.
Wait, is that pumpkin seeds?
Is it what?
Pumpkin seeds.
Close. Does anyone have another guess?
Okay.
Exactly. So always before planting seeds, I like to just connect to my heart and put some good energy into these plants because they're going to grow so big and nourish our bodies and our families.
Put those on the table right here. And then the rest spread out. Yeah. Oh, we put them right here.
What are you looking for? Pumpkin? I'll get you a pumpkin.
Yeah, we were like that building right there, that last corner.
So one of the first places that we lived when we lived in Vancouver, when my family came here, was like Black South Dakota, and we lived on Jackson Avenue. quite multicultural, still is. Definitely a lot of positive memories. Initially, when I lived in Vancouver, we lived in a government housing where there was immigrants from like Vietnam, China, South America, and it was very much so like a lot of Eastern cultures. There were still tensions, obviously, but for the most part, I felt when I lived in those communities that everyone had a common experience. We were all immigrants. But when I moved out of Vancouver into the suburbs, being the only black family in the block, and I was the only black kid in my school, so that was kind of interesting.
This neighborhood like called me to this space. Before I even knew it was Black Strathcona, I started doing work, like community work, about a year into living here, and this is where that community work happened. The black people here that came before us, they gave their energy, they loved here, they learned and laughed here. Like, this space meant so much to them and it means so much to us now, so just trying to continue that work, breathe life into that legacy. In 2020, Afroman had so many plans that all got canceled. And we had the symposium. The Black Spaces Symposium is a conference, festival, where artists come and perform, and we have panels and different conversations. We're going to be hosting the symposium again. We will be doing it virtual again, hoping for 2022 for it to be both virtual and a physical gathering. God's plan.
Yeah, God's exactly.
God's plan.
But yeah, I even like the graphic under that.
But you know, I suspected because I know how these things go.
Performance for me encompasses the feelings of liberate yourself as a person of color. You know, breaking generational curses and what you got to do sometimes to get to certain places that you want to be at. And as you just got to survive.
Yes, endlessness.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. A lot of us from the African diaspora, like we're here, it feels like we're here, but there's not really much of a community. So I feel like with things like this, spaces like this, it really brings us together. And we're able to actually meet each other and build that stronger foundation.
In African culture, community and connection is very essential. Whether you be in Jamaica, whether you be in South America, whether you be anywhere, there's this essence of coming together. People wanting to share, people want to heal, people want to grow. What Afroman has supported me in learning is that you can show up as you are and be seen and heard and succeed.
Cypher has been since we've been. It's the place where we come together in circle. That's where healing happens.
I'm filled with joy and anticipation, even though so many of you have already heard the music.
Spread love, got faith, all I could be. Daytime will span infinity. Spread love, got faith, all I could be. Daytime will span infinity. Cypher is hip hop. It's our ancestral connection. Spread love, got faith, all I could be. It's daytime. It's daytime, y'all. Cypher is magic. It's togetherness. The Cypher is love. That's good.
I get clearer when I look at you. You're transparent, yeah, I see right through. There's no limit to what we can do, no level that we cannot go. I just need you to know you're so beautiful. Do you know you're beautiful? This love thing is spiritual. In your presence, I'm powerful. I can stand the rain. Tell me about your joy and pain. I promise I won't complain. Don't let trauma cause a strain. To stay in this so plain. Miss purple rain. Choose love and watch it grow. Can't hide it, let it show. Take time and get to know self before you can love. Love, we all a work in progress. At times we can be the artists, but like artists, God loves us regardless.